These two bolts, loosen these two bolts, get rid of the fork stabilizer, remove the main axle nut, remove the caliper, and first things first, have the bike resting on something like a jack. This is my car's jack, and so once I've removed all of these components, I can pull the tire out, and that'll be it. That's one fork out. So here we go. It's time to dismantle the forks, and that is what meets the eye. That's your fork. That's my table. I've laid out some tissue, a microfiber cloth, and a container to get the oil. First I'll try and get the oil in this, and then see how much I have left in the fork tube, and also the viscosity. I'll test the viscosity. To begin with, let's go ahead and get rid of the gator, because you don't really need this now, and it's a pretty easy process to get rid of it. Oops. So that's the clip that holds the gator in place. All you need to do is just gently pull this out. It's not gonna come out gently, it's because of all these marks here, and that's my job to, kind of have polished it first and then pull the fork gator out. But any which ways, it's not a big deal. So there we go again. A bit of wrestling and muscle power involved. So this is the third gator on the motorcycle. Kindly keep a track of this. If you start having cracks come up here, kindly replace them, because this is extremely important. I can't tell you how important this is. This is not just the looks of it. This saves the dust seal, and the dust seal further, if it's clean. Look at mine. I haven't touched it. I've just pulled it out of the machine, and that's how a good dust seal should look like. And if I open this, I know for a fact that my oil seal or my fork oil seal is going to be in good nick, only because I know that my gator is working well. Another important tip is to crack this nut open while it is in the motorcycle or on the motorcycle, and then now all you need to do is just this. That's a 23, but the size here is a 22. Resting it on top of the table, and just so that the spring doesn't push it out. Okay, arranging the parts in the order that I pull it out. So the first thing that comes out is my cap, followed by cap, followed by a washer, and then followed by the spacer. I can reverse it. Nothing indicates a top and a bottom, and I don't mind. Anyway, so well, I place it in this order, and then I put in my finger and pull out another. This is more like a spacer, and this could be a washer which goes in here, and this is the top side and this is the bottom side. There is a difference here though. The bottom side has the smooth surface and the top side is edgy. So this rests like that. And now time to pull the spring out. I'm trying to get as much of the fork oil to remain inside the fork leg, just so that I get a good read. I get a good idea of how much oil I pulled out of the fork leg before I go in with a new shot of oil. So okay, so this is a one-way spring, clearly. As you can see that the coils towards the bottom are wound tight, and as and when they come up, they are wound loose. That is, they have more space in between them, and towards the bottom it's kind of compressed. Hasn't anyways, so this is not technically terrible, nor is it amazing. So anyways, we'll try and catch as much as we can now and compress. Okay, that's completely bottomed out. So the moment of truth. Ooh. Nice and dark and dirty. The oil that is coming out of the machine is a Castrol 5W that I had used after a MOTUL 20W for a brief period. So wait for the constant flow to become drips like that. Small drips like that would mean that you have managed to pull out at least a good amount of oil. I mean, there's nothing left in the fork tube or the internals of the fork that you need to be worried about. I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to wait for all of this to drip out into the container, and maybe if you still want every little bit, the last bit to come out of this fork tube, then the best thing for you to do is this. Let it rest on a wall or something, and let all the last tiny bit of oil collect in a container. Okay, so the second one, to a point where the oil is starting to drip as well. So I'll rest it like that on the table, and we'll just have a look at the oil level now. So this shows 860. So that's roughly 900 mLs on the can, and that's all of it that I've managed to pull out. The rest will definitely drip into this container, and we'll wait for that to happen, and I'll get back to you guys on this in a while, how I go about cleaning and all that stuff. So this is a progressive spring. Like you can see, it's wound tight on one end and wound loose on the other end, but there's no taper as such. It's the same dia, and I don't know if this is still good enough, but yeah, we'll put it back in and call it a day. I'm not going to be breaking my head over measuring the size of the spring and seeing if it's still within the wear limits. That's one. So now it's going to be cleaning all of this with some petrol, and once I'm done cleaning, I'll maybe just wait for things to dry, give it a nice wipe, a nice clean, and then shove things back together. So that's a total of 900 mils that I've managed to pull out of the forks. With all the wastage, I think this is definitely going to be 920 milliliters, and that's roughly what goes into the forks, brand new. So the last time I put in about 455 ml of 5W, which is very soft oil, and very cushiony, very light oil. And then before that I had put in 20W MOTUL. So this time again reverting to 20W MOTUL is because I am starting to ride a lot with my pillion and a lot of off-road with my pillion, and I want my front end to be a little more stiff and a little slow on the damping. I mean, I don't want my rebound to be super fast. I want it to be a little more progressive, and so I'm going ahead with a 20W weight. And so that's the whole of it. So this is 20W from MOTUL, and I'm not very sure if 20W from MOTUL is going to be 20W from Liquimoly or Castrol. All these manufacturers have different weights in comparison, so do not rely on that number. Try these oils, feel how it is, and then go less or more on the number. That's about it. That's all the advice that I can give you. And so a 20W MOTUL may not be a 20W Liquimoly. I'm just letting you guys know. So this makes my front end a little more stiff, and I can take on hard riding. I mean, I can do fantastic off-road riding with this at high speeds, and that is exactly why I prefer something which is heavy. So hi guys, I just pulled the dust seal upwards with my Stanley knife. I just dug in and then I pulled it upwards. So it's pretty easy. This goes in like that. All you need to do is just go in and pull it upwards. You need something which is really thin and is a good solid piece of metal. So once you do that, you will expose your oil seal. Now the thing is, you need to understand, if you keep your fork clean, that is, if you have a good fork gator and if you have a healthy dust seal, then this is how the internals of your fork will look like, you know, with the oil seal. Absolutely nothing, no dirt, no nothing getting, nothing accumulating there. So that's 450 ml now that I'm going to be pouring into the forks. So the assembly of the fork goes in the reverse order of dismantling the forks. That is, you have the fork tube, and then in goes the spring, that is with the tighter wound side going down and the loosely wound side on top. That's how that goes in. And you can raise the tube a little bit just so that you know you can accommodate the next part, which is a washer. If you guys can see, a washer on top of the spring like that, and then slightly raise your tube put in the spacer, raise it further. So now it's a very good time to pour in the fork oil. So that's 450 mils going into the tube. Do it very, very slowly. And this is what you're supposed to do, just so that you get the oil to go down at the bottom. And then what follows after that is this metal plate or a spacer again on top. And finally, you have the cap going on top of all of this. So this is going to be a bit of a tricky affair, and what you need to do is use your strength, pull up, and then start rotating. Push down, and then that's it. Once it catches, it's good. The rest is a piece of cake. You can use your 22 millimeter open end spanner to tighten the cap. You don't have to tighten it fully here. Once you have it on the triple clamp and you've tightened the bolts, it's a easy affair to give it that full tight. And that is a wrap on the fork oil change procedure. I've managed to put everything back together, managed to clean just a little bit, not extensive cleaning of the gators, because I replace them every now and then. So just a gentle clean of the gator. The forks are back, and this is a job well done. So once this is on the motorcycle, I'll get back to you guys and give you my thoughts on it, how it rides, how it is different to run heavy oil compared to the soft factory oil that comes along with the forks straight in the bike, on the bike. So if you guys like the video, kindly subscribe to the channel and do support the channel by sharing these videos as well. Until next time, it's Ben signing out for now. Ciao.